restore our nation to full prosperity. We're going to go full prosperity and to build the greatest economy the world has ever seen, just as we had just a short time ago. We will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Great again. Great again.
Hey guys, welcome to a Christmas edition of the American Tribune Live. I am Todd Peterson. We got kind of an interesting show today, just taking it a little more casually today as the holidays approach. I know a lot of my colleagues are already doing Christmas with their families. I know you're doing Christmas with your family. Maybe you've got Rumble on the big TV screen and you're all sitting down on the couch watching the American Tribune Live. Whatever the case, thanks for joining us today. I had to get this off my chest. Oftentimes on our Freedom from the Press podcast, I talk about how doing these shows is cathartic because there's so much nonsense out there. You've just got to get it out into the world. And that's the premise of the show today. It is wild to see the new narratives getting spun up as we enter into the new year, enter into a fantastic Trump 2.0 administration. The lies are off the charts. And so we just want to cover the lies. And look, my Democrat voting friends, family members, they're nice people. A lot of you are nice folks. You work hard. You raise your families. You send your kids to school. We'll talk about public schools a different episode. We'll do a standalone on that. You mean well, but the policies you support, the positions that the party that you vote for holds, they are ruinous. They are evil. And we had to talk about the lies that you have to believe to vote Democrat nowadays. And I have to enter this caveat into the conversation. Well, I am not talking about the elected Democrat elites. I'm not talking about the people that run the government. I am talking about normie Democrat voters, the elites, the politicians, the elected officials, the unelected officials. Think of Anthony Fauci. They know that they're lying. I'm not talking about them. These people will straight up lie to you to push a narrative, to spread propaganda, to brainwash you in the case of a KJP, corporate media host. They know they're lying. It is mendacious and it is evil. They're not stupid. They're not misspeaking. It's not an accident. They are lying to you on purpose. We'll take a tangent on the border wall situation for just a second. Is it an accident that they had a wide open border? Tens of millions of people came across the country, drugs getting smuggled in, children and women getting smuggled in, trafficked, abused. Is that all an accident? Did they think, well, if we have a wide open border, maybe it'll resolve itself? Like, absolutely not. They knew the border situation was untenable. It was un-American. It was murderous in the cases of Laken Riley, that poor woman that got set afire in the New York City subway system lately. They know what they're doing. None of this is by accident. It is all intentional and by design. So set them aside. These people know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they are saying. They're, again, not misspeaking. They're not ignorant on an issue. They're not dumb. Yet you can say AOC and Kamala Harris are dumb all day. They're not that dumb. They know what they're saying is a lie. Remember the clip that we keep playing? I'm not going to play it again. Kamala Harris campaigned a week before the election saying that officers died on January 6th. This is so easily disproven, you cannot come to any other conclusion that it is just evil. They know they're lying. They don't care. But here is where we come to the premise of the show. These lies work. They are effective. Half of this country, if you believe the numbers in the election, 48% of people in America voted for Kamala Harris. They believe these lies, and that's who we need to wake up, because Democrats don't need to get in power. They wouldn't be in power if not for these voters. So my I call them Demi. My Dem voters, family members, friends, your neighbors, the people in your life, they believe these lies, and we need to shake them into reality. They can't believe these lies anymore. So for the episode today, we're just going to play some clips. You're going to see how egregious these lies are. And you're going to ask yourself, how do people believe this? Who believes these lies? They're so obviously false. They are so easily disproven. And yet people go to the polls, they vote Democrat. They go around saying Trump bad, Trump's going to do this and that. They'll never tell you specifically what is bad about Trump. They'll never have an argument about a policy position Trump is promoting to tell you why it's bad, but Trump bad, everything else, the media, everything else the Democrats are telling me, that must be the truth because they're saying it. They wouldn't lie. They're not stupid. Well, that's not the issue. Again, I have to make this point. It's not stupid. It's not ignorance. It is willful lying, willful deceit. They are evil human beings, the people spreading these lies because they know they are lies. But let us get into it here. If you're watching the video live here, we've got the graphic up here. The narrative you're hearing right now as that it's bad that Donald Trump's president. He's a billionaire. It's bad that Elon Musk has the president's ear because he is a billionaire. We can't trust billionaires. They're in it for himself. Elon Musk is just trying to get government contracts with Tesla and SpaceX, and he's trying to make lots of more money. And you know what? If that were simply the case, fine, I don't care. But the entire narrative that billionaires are bad, are you kidding me? So I've got some clips of Elizabeth Warren, and she's spouting off. That's all Liz Warren does, Pocahontas. All she does is rail against billionaires. But folks, I've got to make this point. Number one, George Soros, the billionaire, and then I've got the graphic here of his son taking over the family fortune. Do you see all the people, all of the Democrat politicians that cozy up to billionaires? Like, you, as a Democrat voter, I'm sorry, you have to be stupid to believe this lie. Oh, billionaires are bad. That's what the Democrats said. That's what the media said. Trump's a billionaire. Elon's a billionaire. Guys, look at the picture. Every single one of your Democrat politician heroes has a selfie with George Soros and his son. And he's a billionaire, and he funds the corruption that you see in the inner cities. You got Alvin Bragg, the DA that went after Trump, went after Daniel Penny. He gets funded by George Soros. Do you remember Kamala Harris's campaign that featured money from Reid Hoffman, this billionaire that's going to flee the country because he's associated with Epstein? Oprah showed up on behalf of Kamala Harris. Mark Cuban campaigned on behalf of Kamala Harris. Bill Gates. How many billionaires do I have to name, folks, that represent the establishment and specifically fundraise for Democrats? You can't say billionaires are bad now because your entire party is funded by corrupt, evil billionaires, and you do their bidding. Even if we had a problem with Trump being a billionaire, with Musk being a billionaire, with Trump getting other billionaires' money, even if you said that's a problem, you can't make it your sole focus and ignore all of the billionaire money going into Democrat pockets. It just doesn't work that way. Like I said, as a Democrat voter, you've got to be next level stupid to focus on just Trump and Elon and ignore Cuban and Hoffman and Oprah. And I don't know what Beyonce and Jay-Z are worth. I'm certain they're billionaires at this point. LeBron James is almost a billionaire. All these guys support Democrats. You can't say billionaires are the problem. You just can't. Normie Dems will believe anything. They're proof that you can say any lie you want and people will eat it up. So on that thread here, we just got to play some Liz Warren, and I apologize in advance. Liz Warren is so hard to listen to. She's never right about anything. And again, I'm not talking about Liz Warren. I'm talking about her message that people believe. That's kind of the focus of the show today here. Let's start with a screenshot. This is from her X account. She hasn't left X yet. She's not on Pedosky. And speaking of Pedosky, folks, you will notice that our audience is a little smaller today. I was afraid to stream this episode on Facebook. We normally get a lot of good comments on Facebook, a lot of good views on Facebook. It saddened me a little bit, especially, for the holidays. We got to bring people together over on Facebook, right? But I couldn't talk about this stuff. I was afraid Facebook might hit the nuke button on our pages saying, you can't expose the Democrats' corruption. You can't talk about Pedosky. You can't talk about this and that. So we're not on Facebook today. We are on Rumble. Thanks for joining us on Rumble. If you're watching over on X or YouTube, I encourage you to head over to the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. That's our Rumble channel. That's where we're streaming live right now as well. Thanks for joining us today, and drop a comment. We are a live show. If you're on X, if you're on Rumble, if you're on YouTube right now, drop a comment. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know how Liz Warren is just a fraud. But here she is going after billionaires. Elon Musk owns SpaceX, Tesla, and X, and is a major government contractor. Ooh, we've never had those before running the government. Never mind Big Pharma. Never mind the military-industrial complex. Elon Musk is a billionaire, and he gets government contracts, so be mad about that. Like, it is absolutely insane. The same people that are going to rail against Elon Musk for getting government contracts conveniently ignore that they were forced to mask up, get injected with a therapeutic that doesn't even work. It was novel. You are the part of the largest human experiment in all of mankind. You were a guinea pig. Big Pharma colluded with the government to get those juicy contracts. Do you remember the stock prices of like Pfizer and Moderna during the pandemic because government money gave you a free COVID vaccine? But sure, Elon Musk is the bad guy. And here is the narrative. This is what they're trying to tell him. Tell our Democrat voter friends and family members he's the co-president. He can steer billions of federal dollars toward his own companies. Oh, my goodness. Isn't this awful, folks? Elon Musk can get government contracts. Nobody else does that. The government has never been corrupt before and issue contracts to friends and family members. Liz Warren certainly never profits from stock trading. I mean, she makes what, $250K a year, and she's worth $20 million. I am sure that has nothing to do with her inside stock information, her lobbyist donation money. Sure, just Elon Musk. Focus on Elon Musk. He's the bad guy. But there's the word, though, co-president. They're trying to create this narrative that because Elon Musk helped Donald Trump win the election and he's a scary billionaire, they got to focus on scary billionaires. Again, ignore the other ones. Ignore Oprah and Cuban and Hoffman and all the rest. Ignore them. Elon Musk is a billionaire, so that's bad now. And you're going to see a trend here. Let's go over to Maxwell Alejandro Frost. This guy is insane. We'll do an episode on him. And just like that, Republican unelected co-president Elon Musk has killed the bill to keep the government from shutting down on Friday. We're going to talk a little bit about the government shutdown. The narratives around that were absolutely insane too. And again, we're focusing on just a few conversations, a few comments. You could do this for anything. That's part of the reason I had to do the show. I had to get off my chest. You could literally pick any clip from C-SPAN, CNN, and be like, how do people believe this? Like, we've done entire Trump hoax episodes. People believed he murdered koi fish. They think he was going to have a bloodbath in the streets. They think he cited an insurrection. Like, they believe anything. We've already covered that a lot. I just wanted to cover some of the newer narratives that are coming up at the turn of the new year. But they want Elon Musk. They want you to think that he is the co-president in this administration. And we didn't elect Elon Musk. So that's not right. That's not constitutional. Again, never mind the fact that Democrats voted for Joe Biden and he is decidedly not running the government right now. I would argue he has never run the government. And so they are fine with all of these shadow figures, the deep state, lobbyists writing bills on behalf of Joe Biden. They're okay with that. You didn't vote for anybody in the deep state. You didn't vote for the lobbyists. You didn't vote for whoever Biden's handlers are. They're okay with that. But now suddenly it's bad that Elon Musk helped Donald Trump win. And because Elon Musk is influential, he's a smart guy. He wants to shrink the government. He wants to help Donald Trump because, God forbid, Kamala Harris won. Like, Elon Musk is not dumb. He looked at Kamala Harris and said, this thing cannot win. This machine that operates behind her cannot win. But yeah, Elon Musk is bad because we've never had a U.S. government work before where it is really just the president calling all the shots. Like, you have to be stupid to believe this, like willfully ignorant at best. TDS suffering, throw that in there. I mean, willfully stupid, all of it. It's just insane what people are willing to believe here. Let's see. Let's get a Liz Warren clip up and running. This is her talking. I think this was a pretty recent clip right here. And folks, we've got The View saying some insane stuff about Elon Musk and Trump. We're going to get to Hakeem Jeffries. He was on the thumbnail today. The lies that he says that are so obvious a lie if you pay attention for 2 seconds, but they go out there and say it, and their base is fine with it. Here's Liz Warren, though, going off on some insane rant.
So think about it this way. Here is this man, richest man in the world, who has multiple companies. So he's got Tesla.
And notice the tone in the fear-mongering. I'm fired up today, folks. I've got my coffee in me. It's Christmas. I'm excited. The kids are all riled up. So then you're riled up as a parent. You're like, whoa, tone those emotions down. Yes, you can see the presents. We open them tomorrow. But Liz Warren out there right away with her tone, like billionaire, and she's shaking. He owns companies, and she's shaking. They want you to think that being a billionaire, a successful billionaire, is a bad thing. And again, they're going to ignore all the other billionaires that support Democrat positions, fundraise for Democrats. Ignore all of that. Just pretend that they didn't campaign for Harris. Pretend that the Harris campaign didn't launder money to Oprah Winfrey's company to do an exclusive, just god-awful interview. I couldn't even get 2 seconds in, and I already had to debunk it. Like, just the way she's setting up this entire rant is insane. He's a billionaire. Yeah, so what? There's a lot of billionaires, and a lot of them support your party.
The electric car maker. He's got X. He's got...
Notice how, too, electric car maker. This is always fascinating. This is the party that wants you to believe that human beings are solely responsible for whatever climate change means to them. It used to be global warming when I was a kid. If you're a millennial, you grew up with global warming, the hole in the ozone layer. It was all man's fault. We have to cut carbon emissions. They were championing electric vehicles. Do you ever hear them celebrate Elon Musk and Tesla? Like, this party, if they believe that lie, like I said, they are lying to you. They don't believe in this man-made climate crisis. It is a front for communism. It is a front for more government power and less freedom for you. So they don't believe it. If they did believe it, though, they would be championing Elon Musk. He made EVs affordable, accessible, cool. But no, he owns Tesla, and then they just kind of skim right over that.
Neuralink, he's got SpaceX, and a handful of other companies. Those companies are directly involved with the United States government. Millions and millions of dollars worth of government contracts.
And again, to be clear, none of this is overtly a bad thing. Governments issue contracts. This just in. Liz Warren knows how the system works. She knows who butters her bread. She knows this is all a scam. But again, she is trying to create a narrative. Elon Musk bad, Trump bad, billionaires bad. And it's just like, it's so obvious she's lying if you think about it. But Dem voters are like, I should be outraged about that. And you're just like, no, you shouldn't be outraged by that.
Millions of touch points where there are rules that will affect those companies,
Right.
like a $7,500 rebate for electric cars, investigations that are currently.
I have to ask this question. I hadn't played the full clip before, so I'm learning right alongside you all. It's now we're against tax cut rebates or like benefits for buying an electric vehicle, and that's because that helps Tesla. That's a bad thing. Like, these are the same people. Barack Obama, not that long ago, remember cash for clunkers? They wanted you to buy automobiles. Add on to that you're buying an electric vehicle. These should all be good things. And now she's like, that's bad because you're going to buy a Tesla and that supports Elon Musk. And now that's corruption. Like, the whole thing does not make any sense if you think about it. I have to keep saying think about it because my normie Dem friends, your normie Dem friends, yeah, this time we got Normie in there. Sometimes it's Demi for short, apparently. They're just like, yeah, this is bad. We don't want people buying Teslas and getting tax dollars, saving on their income tax. They should be all paying taxes too. They're like, oh, income tax, that's fine too. It's just insane what she's saying.
Ongoing into the practices of each of those companies and, in some cases, into Mr. Musk himself. And here he is whispering into the ear of Donald Trump. So what is he whispering? Is he whispering, here are ways to help the American people? Or is he thinking through ways?
Ask yourself this one question. Whether you're an America First patriot, if you're a just brainwashed Democrat voter, how has Liz Warren ever helped you? And don't tell me she fought for student loan forgiveness. She fought for socialized medicine. Like, these are not helpful things because even though they might help you, they hurt way more Americans through higher taxes, through just the unfairness of forgiving student loans. If you went to college and paid your way through it, if you already paid off your loans, if you never went to college, like, you can't just say, yeah, it helped me. You need to look at the larger picture. Liz Warren has never supported a policy that has ever helped Americans. Let me know in the chat if I'm wrong about that. A progressive Democrat, the only thing they do is hurt Americans and hurt this country. But here she is saying, oh, Elon Musk is going to whisper in the ear and he might get rich and it's going to hurt you. How? How is Doge going to hurt Americans? How is having a safer country going to hurt Americans? We do have to talk about the general Democrat platform for 2024. We'll talk about it right here, apparently. Democrats in 2024 support wide open borders. They support endless wars overseas. They support higher taxation. They support transing your kids. They support soft on crime policies, except if you're a white man in New York, then they want to, punish you to the full extent of the law. Every single position Democrats hold are upside down from what makes sense and upside down from what is moral and just. I'm taking that to the bank. Like, every single position and policy supported by Democrats is corrupt and backwards. But Liz Warren wants to lecture you and make you think, never mind all of our policies that are harmful and ruinous and destructive. No, it's Elon Musk because he stands to make a little bit of money. And if he's the only person in human history, in American history, that's ever had the ear of the president. Do you guys know how this system works? Like, presidents have advisors, and I would rather have a good advisor like Elon Musk, who, if he stands to profit, fine. But I think Elon Musk's number one motive is to save this country. Elon Musk is worth, he'll be maybe the first trillionaire in the world. Do you think he cares about getting another $100 billion? Or do you think he cares more about saving the country? He doesn't need any more money. If he makes more money, great. I want people to be successful if they introduce a product. If you have Starlink or you have SpaceX, which the US government can't get a rocket to space anymore. We need someone to do it. Like, these are good things and he should be rewarded financially for doing it. But don't think too hard about it.
Ways to make those companies richer, to back off the regulators, or to end any investigations into his work. This is conflicts of interest at a level that we have never before seen in this country. And it is critically important, first of all, that we call it out, and second, that we start to push back and say no. The American public has a right to know who's giving.
This statement right here is fascinating. The American people have a right to know. Do I need to point out that were it not for Elon Musk and X, the American people would have had no idea what was in the monstrosity that was the 1,500-page CR bill that had, and we don't have time to go through all of it, but the thing that always stood out to me was they codified pandemic tyranny. They were setting the stage for another pandemic, and we're going to make it okay for the government to lock you down again, force you to wear masks, force you to jab yourself with goodness knows what kind of concoctions. They wanted a 40% pay raise. They wanted to stop a J6 investigation. They wanted to do all sorts of things, just increase government funding. Don't think about it. Here's your raise. Even though it's a CR, there shouldn't be a raise. If it weren't for X, we wouldn't have known about that. And then she's out here saying the American people need to know what's going on. You can't have it both ways. You can't have freedom of speech and independent journalism on X, where American people do see how the sausage is made, and then vilify Elon Musk and X and everything that we have learned about our government on that platform and say we need more transparency. Like, it doesn't work that way. Simply astounding stuff. Again, not a single thing that she said makes sense. Not a single policy or platform position that she holds makes sense. That is the point. You will believe anything if you're a Democrat. There are viewers out there. And again, if you're watching MSNBC, God love you. You're watching Elizabeth Warren on NBC. That's a whole nother level of brainwashing and propaganda. Not one single thing she said is true or makes sense, but that is the point. They will lie to you. They're going to get you riled up about billionaires and influence in the government, which is, yes, a bad thing, but I would rather have a good influence like Elon Musk than who is influencing Joe Biden. Will Liz Warren get on there and say, I'm concerned about Joe Biden's administration? It's clear he was mentally unwell. Sorry that we lied to you for 4 years about his mental state. No one's apologized for covering up Joe Biden's mental decline. The single greatest scandal of his presidency, and that is saying a lot because this is Joe Biden's presidency we're talking about. She's not concerned who is whispering in Joe Biden's ear. Maybe she could talk about that first before we talk about Elon Musk, who loves this country, loves freedom, wants to save this country, supported Donald Trump, a man that is the single person set up to do such a thing. Yeah, you need to be afraid of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. It is wild stuff. I think we got one more Liz Warren clip in here. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm doing us all a favor and we just have one Liz Warren clip here. All right, let us go over to AOC, though. It's along the same vein of X is bad. You know, we can't have journalists on X. We can't have a competition for government monopolies on misinformation and propaganda. Here's AOC's take on X after the CR bill was shut down, which it had to be. Folks, I don't care how you vote in this case. If you supported the CR bill that was 1,500 pages long, nobody had time to read it, nobody knew what was in it, and you thought they should just pass it because reasons, thank goodness for X. Thank goodness for shutting that down right away. Here's AOC, though. She's mad that they didn't get exactly what they wanted without the American people or elected officials having a say in the matter.
Power is in everyday people. And if you can...
Real power is in everyday people. Again, they always say the right thing, like, yes, the American people are on X, and they said, we don't want this continuing resolution to be passed. But then her analysis is wrong the rest of the way.
Control the algorithms of what they see.
Facebook, YouTube. I'm not even on Facebook. I said that already. The algorithms on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter before Elon Musk bought it. I mean, if you're over on Rumble, God help you. All of these big tech companies have algorithms, and they push a narrative on you. That is kind of the point. And yeah, at best, it's a profit motive. They're going to send content your way that you're going to react to because the longer you are on the app or their platform, they make more money. So I get it from a money standpoint. But yes, there are nefarious motives as well. If you're Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or Reddit or pretty much everything except for X, the agenda is also important. They're going to promote evil ideas to normalize them. Boys should be allowed to play with girls. They should be allowed to take a shower with them in the locker room. You're a bigot if you think that a sick, mentally unwell man is not a woman. But sure, algorithms. We've never had a problem with algorithms until Elon Musk bought X. Again, You have to ignore so much of reality to believe what she is saying right here.
If you can control the narratives of what they believe through propaganda, through artificial amplification, which is what Elon does. He sets his tweets to be.
Folks, I can't. We all lived through the pandemic. If you posted on Facebook, I think Facebook might still be the largest social media platform. If you said anything against COVID policies or were like, hold on a second, I think this treatment might work, or this seems like a horrible policy, you were nuked. You were unpublished. You were demonetized. Talk about controlling agendas. But sure, AOC, we're really worried about Elon Musk not censoring people. That is the other thing you have to understand. Over on X, they don't censor you. It is a free marketplace of ideas. You can be AOC and spout off any nonsense you want, which she does on a daily basis. AOC is over on X. Nobody is censoring her. Nobody's taking down her post. She's not Donald Trump saying go home peacefully, and Jack Dorsey on Twitter removes that on January 6th because, again, you have to secure a narrative that he cited an insurrection. He didn't say go peacefully protest or go home, people. Simply incredible stuff here. He likes his tweets to be seen. Yes, Elon Musk has a gajillion followers on X. I think he has the largest following on that platform. It's his platform. You can do what you want. And by the way, you can say what you want over on X. But yeah, controlling the information flow, I'm sure that happens on a free speech platform to the same extent that it does on Facebook and YouTube. Again, none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense.
The most retweeted, etc. Then you can control them.
Do you know how a retweet... she's lying. She knows how this works. The point of the show is to be like, other people believe what she's saying, though. And that's the scary thing. A retweet is not Elon Musk pushing his content out farther. A retweet occurs on social media platforms when you like what you saw and you want to share it with your following here. This is not jiggering the algorithm. This is you acting as an individual saying, I like what Elon said. He's making a good point. I want to share that point again with more people. Utterly astounding. Now they're lying to you about how social media works.
So we're going to have to read a lot.
I don't think AOC's ever read anything in her life, but my goodness, those eyes. The eyes are scary. It's always a tell. You always look in the eye of usually it's a woman. I don't want to get all, I don't want to offend my female viewership here, but it's always these crazy women with the eyes. Look at those eyes. It is insane, but lies to you about everything. They lie to you about everything. They're lying to you about how social media works. They're lying about the cover-up of censorship and algorithm usage and how a retweet works. Just absolutely bonkers stuff here. But again, the point is that people believe this. AOC is always on social media. She knows how a repost and a retweet works, but she'll tell you otherwise. That's just Elon Musk manipulating the algorithm so he gets an amplified voice. How about if Elon Musk said something that people didn't like, nobody would retweet it? How about that? All right, I got to get to this one, though. Hakeem Jeffries, when you hear these words, and even if you didn't know anything, I take it back. A lot of people don't know anything about the CR. That's why this lie works. I'm going to debunk the lie. There was a fantastic community note on it. This is related to the continuing resolution as well. You've probably heard the narrative about how Republicans hate kids with cancer. They voted down a 1,500-page bill, just an omnibus package. And one thing that was in there was I think it was $200 million for cancer research for kids. I don't know about you. I thought Joe Biden was going to cure cancer by now anyway, so why is this a thing? Joe, why don't we have a cure? You promised a moonshot your entire campaign and presidency. Where'd your cancer go, folks? Where'd your cancer cure go? But Hakeem Jeffries goes out to reporters and says, Republicans hate kids. They killed this bill. They killed the cancer bill. And then wait till you have to hear what I say on the other side of this.
Are marching America to a painful government shutdown that will crash the economy and hurt working class Americans because they would rather enact massive tax cuts for their billionaire donors than fund cancer research for children.
All right, I'm going to get to that last statement coming up here. But again, the narrative of billionaire friends. And again, that is not a perfect system. Let's just say that. I think we can all agree, maybe we don't like too much billionaire influence. We can all agree Citizens United might have been a terrible decision by the Supreme Court. What was that, in 2008? That's fine. Let's even go with the premise. It's bad that billionaires have outsized influence in the government. But then you have to talk about the billionaires on your side. This is such a one-sided narrative that they're trying to create. Oh, it's only Donald Trump that has billionaire influence. Like, folks, You can't have it this way. You can't say Trump and Elon bad and then ignore all of the billionaires on your side. Hakeem Jeffries certainly relies on donations and lobbying and special interests and corporate interests. He gets lots of money from rich dudes. He wants you to ignore that, though, and focus on Elon Musk. So again, that narrative it's insane. It is so stupid. Who believes this? Who believes that Elon Musk is the first billionaire to ever have influence in the government? Or, again, like I said, if you're going to have influence in the government, I want the right kind of influence. I want the Elon Musk influence in the government over whoever is influencing Joe Biden's administration right now. But to the comment that he made at the end, they would rather give tax benefits. Again, they love to talk about taxing. Here's a better idea. How about no taxes? Let's stop this conversation forever. No income tax. Let's make that a thing. No income tax, and then we don't have to talk about it anymore. Nobody pays income tax. I can't give a tax break to anybody because guess what? They don't pay a tax anyways. But he talked about how Republicans would rather do that than fund cancer research cures for kids. Look how evil the Republicans are. Look how evil Donald Trump and Elon Musk are, because they wanted to vote down this bill and deny cancer research cures for kids. The only problem with that, get a load of this. I'm reading from X. This is from Greg Price. He summarizes it really well in just a few sentences. You know that $190 million of funding for pediatric cancer research that Democrats have spent the last day on their high horse about with the CR? Turns out it passed the Republican-led House as a standalone bill last March, but went nowhere in Chuck Schumer's Senate. That's right, folks. Jeffries knows about this. He is in the House. He voted on a standalone bill for pediatric cancer research. He voted no on it at the time, and he knows that that standalone bill went to the Senate, and it has been there for 9 months with no action from Schumer. Schumer waited until December 20th, the final day, to cram this into the larger CR package, knowing that it would get shut down, or at least Republicans would contest it, and that they would have a narrative. If anybody hates pediatric cancer research for kids, it is Democrats, who had a chance to pass this thing last March. What they have done is pure evil. Now, I would go a step further and say maybe the government doesn't need to be involved in this anyways. Maybe there is a private research firm out there that they can develop their own cure and sell it and make a ton of money off of it. Fine. But if we're going to have government funding for this stuff, then you can only point a finger at Democrats. That, again, this standalone bill for cancer research was passed last March. It didn't need to be a thing in the CR on December 20th. Jeffries knows that because he voted on the bill. His Democrat buddies, Chuck Schumer in the Senate, didn't bring it to the floor. They waited for 9 months to get this money out there. And now they have a narrative that Republicans hate kids with cancer. Everything about that is false. But there are Democrat voters, Normie Dems out there, that believe this. They're going to bed at night. They're waking up today. They're getting together with their family members on Christmas. And they're saying, you voted for Donald Trump. You're a scumbag. Did you know that he just shot down the CR bill and now kids with cancer won't have a cure researched? And you just have to say, guess what, buddy? Democrats could have voted for this in March, and they waited for 9 months to stick it in the bill just so they could make you believe a lie. Simply incredible stuff. All right, I got to get to this one here. This one is, let's just do a little KJP because I hate myself. Here are 2 clips of KJP just spreading outright lies, and we'll debunk them too.
I just want to take a step back for a second, because I do take offense to what Ed alluded to. You know, come out here, every day there's a press briefing, and we do our best to give you the information that we have at the time.
Lie, it is a lie. She says we do our best every day. Her job is to be a propagandist. That is KJP's job. She is not out there interested in truth. She's not interested in having a discussion. She is there to promote the narrative of the Biden regime. Fact check false. She is not out there doing her best every day. She knows exactly what she wants to say, what she needs to say, because as we have heard other Democrats admit, Jasmine Crockett, we played a clip last week. I think I did that on my other podcast as well. She's not talking about changing their positions that Americans hate or that do harm on the American people. She says we need to work on messaging more. KJP's job is to package up horrible policies, package up lies, and communicate a message to you, a false message. So she's already lying, and we haven't even gotten into the lie that she's talking about.
That's what we do. And we understand that freedom of the press, we respect the freedom of the press. You heard me talk about this last week. I appreciate the back and forth that we all have. It is,
It does not.
I try to respect you, and I hope you try to respect me.
KJP deserves zero respect. I'm going to finish the clip right there because it goes on a little farther. I think the headline was she's about to cry. She gets so offended when she gets called out by the media for lying. Nothing about that is true, KJP. I got to play that one more time.
Appreciate the back and forth that we all have.
I appreciate the back and forth we all have. She absolutely does not. If she appreciated the back and forth, she would go back and forth right now instead of breaking down in tears and playing the victim. Oh, I got called out for my lies. Woe is me. Let's do one more KJP really fast.
Thanks, Kareem. So I wondered if the president has spoken to any lawmakers personally about the potential for a shutdown.
So let me first say this, and I know you've seen our statements coming from here this week about this particular issue, and we'll just continue to reiterate that Republicans blew up this deal. They did.
They did, and we should all be celebrating that. But again, it's the tone, just like we have with that Warren clip. Billionaire. He has the presidency here, and now she's up there. KJP is saying Republicans own this. And she's conveying the idea that this is a bad thing. Folks, I don't know what to tell you. That 1,500-page CR bill had to be blown up. Yes, thank goodness Republicans did that. Thank goodness American Patriots over on X read through the bill. Your elected officials didn't read through it. Speaker Johnson, sellout Rhino Johnson, didn't care what was in the bill. He was doing the bidding of Democrats, having secret meetings behind closed doors with Jeffries and Schumer, and not President Trump or the interests of the American people. Yeah, Republicans own this. They're trying to make the Republicans the boogeyman, just like Jeffries was saying. They didn't want to research cancer for kids. Yes, Republicans own the defeat of the CR bill, and thank goodness for it. Good job, Republicans. If KJP were honest, and again, she can't be. If you're a Democrat, you can't be honest. She would be like, you know what? I'm kind of glad that they did that because there's a lot of awful things in that bill, and nobody actually read it. So maybe it's a good thing it got shut down. But nope, we got to spread the message, get the narrative out there. It's bad that Republicans shut down that bill. Sorry, folks, that clip's longer. I can't do any more KJP. Let's head over to this, though. This is a Democrat senator getting called out for just straight up lies. And again, all they do is lie to you. And when they get confronted with their lies, they lie again.
Regard to these continuing reports, I find it really interesting that now reporters who really spoke very little about this throughout the course of the Biden administration are suddenly now pouring out with quotes and coverage over what they're calling the diminished president in charge. This is from the Wall Street Journal. In the spring of 2021, that is right after the president took office, a national security official explained to another aide why a meeting needed to be rescheduled. Quote, he has good days and bad days. Today was a bad day, so we are going to address this issue tomorrow, the former aide recalled the official saying. When you see all of this coming out, Senator, do you reflect on it in terms of the ramifications for the country and your own responsibility to the country? You said this in February of 2024. Watch.
This is a man who is sharp, who is on top of his game.
Your thoughts as you look at all of this reporting and things from your own colleagues as well coming out.
Well, Martha, I support President Biden's record as someone who has gotten past year after year significant and consequential legislation. And you dismissed with a wave of the hand my point just a few moments ago about our getting out of here and everyone doing their work. Let's take a look at where we are. And
absolute scumbag. Like I said, this is the biggest scandal of the Biden administration, covering up his mental decline and couching it in that nice little euphemism, diminished. They always knew. Joe Biden always knew if he was capable of knowing, but everyone in Joe Biden's orbit, and again, we just talked about Elon Musk whispering in the president's ear. Clearly, if Joe Biden's not all there, he has all sorts of people whispering in his ear, doing exactly what they want because Biden can't push back. He doesn't know what's going on. You had this Democrat senator, I think this is Coons. Again, the Northeast of America is just lost. They're all, why are you voting for this, people? But he got shown his own clip. Joe Biden is sharp. Morning Joe said this is the best version of Biden ever. They demonetized us on our own Facebook pages when we talked about this. You got censored and deplatformed if you said, Joe Biden's not all there. They'd call you a conspiracy theorist. People knew from the very beginning and they covered it up. And when they get exposed, when their own clips get played back to them and they have to defend it, notice the little pivot there. This was not an accident. He didn't think about that on the spot. This was the message. I'm proud of Joe Biden's record and what he accomplished. Separate issue from him being sharp, like you said, but that's their little pivot. That's how they cover themselves up. Nothing was ever sharp about Joe Biden. And again, if he's going to go out there and defend Biden's record, shame on all of these people. What has Joe Biden done for the American people? During the campaign, it was often said, like, Joe Biden made it clear he hates MAGA. And yes, that is true. But I always took it a step further. Joe Biden doesn't just hate MAGA. He hates all Americans. Look at the pardons he just did. What American is he helping? What regular American, tax-paying, law-abiding citizen, whether you vote for Republican or Democrat, when you commute the sentences of 37 death row inmates, pretty much all of them, he is giving the giant middle finger to all of America. When Joe Biden has a wide open border, it harms all Americans. What record are you even trying to defend? These people are so evil. He knows the Biden policies that have been enacted have hurt Americans. They lied to you about inflation from the beginning, say it wasn't happening, then it was transitory, then it was a good thing it was happening. Nothing from Joe Biden's presidency has been good or helpful for Americans. So even his pivot is a lie. It's not true. What American is looking back in the last 4 years and saying, well, I'm glad Joe Biden was in office? But again, the message to the Democrat voters today, that's who this episode is for. 48% of you voted for Kamala Harris. She would have been worse if that's possible than Joe Biden, and you voted for that. And the only reason is because you believe all of these lies. So many lies. All right, we got to get up to, I think since I talked about death row, I'm going to play this clip right here as well. Or rather, we just have a screenshot. Matt Walsh was responding to the news that Joe Biden had commuted all the sentence of death row inmates. This is perfect, again, because to be a Democrat voter, to be a leftist, you live with cognitive dissonance. You live believing lies. There's no other way around it. Take a listen to this right here from Matt Walsh. The death penalty is unfair, unjust, and evil, unless you walk up to a rich guy you don't like on the sidewalk and shoot him in the back. Referencing, of course, the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Luis Mangione, is that how you say his name, is a hero on the left because he took down the big bad of corporate big insurance. That CEO deserved to die. And then at the same time, they're like, oh, the death penalty is evil. But take a listen to this. This part is great. The only form of the death penalty that's okay is the form that doesn't include a judge, jury, or court, and where the executed person has not been charged with, convicted, or even accused of any specific crime. This is the actual position of millions of leftists in this country, not a straw man. It's what they believe. Yep. To be a Democrat voter out there, you have to believe that. You're celebrating the murder of the healthcare CEO, and to Walsh's point, never charged with anything, never convicted of anything. But because he's the boogeyman that people like Liz Warren and AOC and Joe Biden, KJP, and all the rest of them promote. Yeah, Elon Musk, billionaire, healthcare CEO, millionaire, super rich, doesn't care about the working class. It's okay to murder him, even though that doesn't affect any of the policies. Like, now what? Now you have a new healthcare CEO at United? Like, what did you change? But they were celebrating that. They said those guys need to live in fear. But then when we have someone that rapes kids, murders people, they need their freedom. They need their life because all life is precious and the death penalty is bad. Like, completely insane stuff. Completely insane. All right, I got a few more clips of The View. And then, folks, it is Christmas Eve day. What am I doing here? I got to get out of here. So let's do a few clips of The View. I'm going to go celebrate the rest of Christmas with my family. You need to go celebrate Christmas with your family. But first, you've got to see The View talking about how Elon Musk wants to assassinate Donald Trump. Yep, they actually said that.
Who is in charge? Because I've been saying it for a while.
Yes, you have.
I've been saying that I think Elon Musk believes he's president. I do.
Well, you've been calling him vice president.
I've called him vice president. I called him president because I don't know what JD is doing. I hardly ever say. I don't remember the last time we even talked about JD.
You're right. He's planning the presidency when they get rid of Trump.
So you think it's Musk Vance?
Possible.
Hey, you know who? Stay away from the stairways. Because, people put the leg out to trip you going down the stairs. Watch.
What a wild comment. They're actually talking about how Elon Musk and JD Vance are plotting to kill Donald Trump and take over the government. This is where they're at, folks. Democrat voters believe this. They have now been told enough, and I played, I think, enough clips to kind of prove the point. You've got Liz Warren, you've got other Democrats out there talking about it. You got Hakeem Jeffries. Now you got the ladies on The View. Like, they got their talking points, and the talking points are that Elon Musk is running the government. And Whoopi takes it a step further. Joy Behar takes it a step further into saying, not only does he run the government and want to run the government, he wants to become the outright de facto president by just getting rid of Donald Trump. Like, the level of delusion here, I don't know if there are any words to describe the sheer stupidity. But again, they know this isn't true. They know Elon Musk isn't going to be president. They know Elon Musk isn't trying to become president. Elon Musk wants to be influential in the presidency. Fine. That is not what they're talking about here. But I got to go back to this clip here. I had another comment to make. Something she said earlier on as well.
I've been saying it for a while.
Yes, you have.
I've been saying that I think Elon Musk believes he's president. I do.
Well, you've been calling him vice president.
I've called him vice president. I called him president because I don't know what JD is doing. I hardly ever say. I don't remember.
It's so stupid too. Like, I don't know where JD's been. Let's see. The election happened. He probably took a break from campaigning. But were you ever wondering where Kamala was for 4 years? Where Joe Biden was for 4 years? Like, again, they have to ignore so much to prove their point. And I don't even know what she's trying to say. Where is JD? Like, where do you want JD to be? I know he was in North Carolina checking out the damage from the hurricane that the Biden administration doesn't care about. We'll send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine and other parts of the world, but we don't want to help Western North Carolina because they're Trump voters down there. FEMA doesn't want to help Trump supporters. Oh, you see a Trump sign in the yard, FEMA? Don't help that family. Like, so that's what Joe Biden's administration was doing. JD Vance went down there to talk to them. What do you want JD to do? He hasn't been sworn in yet as vice president. He is still a senator, so he'll be voting on bills as they come up. Where is anybody in Washington, D.C. right now? Because it's Christmas. They're all at home. They're not in D.C. anyways. And that was the point. That's why they brought the CR to the floor on December 20th, because these guys didn't want to stay overnight in D.C. They wanted to go home to their families. So, yeah, where's Joe Biden been for 4 years, Whoopi? How about we start asking that question first, and then maybe we can take you seriously asking, like, where JD is. I don't know what she wants JD to be doing, but where is he? I guess that's an important question to ask if you're Whoopi Goldberg. All right, we got one more clip of the video because why not?
Well, it would help if we could regulate social media, because one of the biggest offenders is D.C. and Congress have not been able to do one thing in regard to the rogue corporations of social media.
It's not going to get any better with Elon Musk now in the administration.
So basically, they're admitting we need to control all forms of media. I'm not that old. I remember KJP like a minute ago when we played the clip saying we appreciate a free press. And then at the same time, you got these ladies on there saying, like, free press, that's dangerous because now we can't do whatever we want and we can't spread misinformation and have a monopoly on the narrative. And then, again, you have to be willfully ignorant. I would say stupid at this point. I'm not feeling very charitable towards Democrat voters today, folks. I'm sorry if you vote Democrat. Sometimes you need tough medicine. But Facebook and Twitter before Elon bought it, YouTube, Reddit, all of the big platforms, they colluded with the government. We have documentation that government officials and big tech officials worked together to promote a certain narrative about the 2020 election, about the pandemic, about race relations following George Floyd's overdose. There was a lot of government collusion. And now she's out there complaining that because Elon Musk owns X and he is like, it's all so dumb. And again, not feeling charitable. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, they know they're lying. They know what happened. We all lived through the pandemic. If you had a social media account and you were like, I don't think social distancing is really a thing, and you get your page nuked, and then it turns out later they made up 6 feet because it sounded nice and people might comply with 6 feet. Yikes. Just yikes all around. People believe this, though. People have still never apologized for the things they believed during the pandemic. We just all pretend the pandemic never happened. I will always be disappointed. 2022 midterms, 2024 elections should have been a referendum, if nothing else, on pandemic policies. And in 2024, of course, you throw in the open border, the war in Ukraine, but 2022 is a chance to be like, you guys lied to us. We knew by the fall of 2022 that everything they had said to us was a lie, the things they forced us to do. It should have been a referendum on largely Democrats, who were the party more than Republicans of promoting all of these tyrannical policies, and voters rewarded them. They said, you kept me safe. We didn't know at the time. It's like, no, we did know at the time. That is another lie that they believe. They were doing the best that they could with the information they had at the time. Never mind the fact that in March of 2020, we already knew who was the most at risk from COVID. We had studies out of Italy. We had studies out of the cruise ships. Remember the Diamond Princess cruise? We knew that if you were old and had multiple comorbidities, you were susceptible to death from COVID. And we also knew at the time that you could use hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, vitamin D. They had a host of other generics and cheap drugs that were available and successful. But sure, we didn't know any better at the time, and they were doing the best they could. As long as you don't go to church or open your small business, then that will keep people safe. And people are like, yeah, that makes sense. Simply wild stuff, folks. But as the title says, Normie Dems prove people will believe anything. Every single clip I played today, I debunked it. I explained how ridiculous it is. It is not even hard to do. All you have to do is be like, well, hold on a second. There's other billionaires that support Democrats. People whisper in the ear of presidents. Tell me what I'm missing. What am I missing, folks? Like, again, you will believe anything if you vote Democrat. And it's because you have been brainwashed for years, if you're my age, your entire life by corporate media. They've never been honest with you. They will push these lies. They made Trump Hitler to the point that you cannot think rationally about Donald Trump anymore. And again, that's the point. They meant to do it that way so that when you see Donald Trump close the border, stop the wars overseas, pass legislation on day one that ends trans insanity, he's going to do great things, and they won't be able to acknowledge they're great. They'll find something to get angry about, and here it is. This is the narrative, folks. I'm prepping you right now. This is the talking point. Elon Musk bad, government contracts, billionaire, co-president. They want you to get afraid of Elon Musk because they can't do anything else with Donald Trump. They've said everything they can about Trump, so they need a new boogeyman. And even though Trump was going to be a fascist and a dictator, and he was always the head of MAGA, you need to now forget that Donald Trump won't be in charge because he's a weak man, and Elon Musk can buy him out, apparently. Apparently you have to believe all that if you're going to accept this new narrative. Forget that Donald Trump's a fascist. He's just a weak man and he's controlled by Elon Musk. A new fascist, I guess. Like, make it make sense. But that is going to do it for us today, folks. Like I said, it is Christmas. I'm going to pop this graphic up one more time. Yep, billionaires bad, except George Soros, who owns every single Democrat politician. We are the American Tribune Live. I don't know if we're going to go live this Thursday. We do go live every Tuesday and Thursday. It's the holidays, family gathering. So we'll see if we come back on Thursday. If we do, hope to see you there. And if not, I hope you're spending time with your family and friends right now too. Get off social media, get off the computer, get off your phone. Just open presents with the kids. Watch your kids be happy. Get together with your family members, friends. Get out of the house, get outside. I'm in Minnesota. We got some snow. I'm going sledding. We're going on the lake right after this. All good things happening. But appreciate you tuning in. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. And again, if you're on X, if you're on YouTube, we didn't go on Facebook today because they probably would have hated what we had to say. Head over to Rumble, though. We're the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. That is our growing channel. And if you want to see daily commentary from me every day, you can head over to our main Rumble channel. That is just the American Tribune. And if you like the videos and you want to see some written content, head over to theamericantribune.com for daily news stories, or theamericantribune.news, where we have a fantastic business partner, Will Tanner, who writes some really excellent pieces that explore a lot of these topics in a way that we definitely can't talk about on all these big tech platforms. But with that being said, folks, thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for joining the show. We'll see you next week. Have a very Merry Christmas.
Starting on day one, we'll implement a rapid series of bold reforms to restore our nation to full prosperity. We're going to go full prosperity and to build the greatest economy the world has ever seen, just as we had just a short time ago. We will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Great again. Great again.